No, I say Esau. Genesis chapter 25. Genesis chapter 25. Bruce, you can start your machine, please. Another 35 to 40. Let me know at 35. Start to wave at me. Around 25. Genesis chapter 25, verses 27 to 34. We go to Mr. Esau for a quick moment. Come with me. Genesis chapter 25, verses 27 to 34. This is Esau. We read, we comment, and we go along here. Genesis chapter 25, verses 27 to 34. When the boys grew up, Esau became a skillful hunter, a man of the field, but Jacob was a peaceful man living in tents. Now Isaac loved Esau, but because he had a taste for game, but Rebekah loved Jacob. When Jacob had cooked stew, Esau came in from the field, and he was famished. And Esau said to Jacob, "Please let me have a swallow of that red stuff there. For I am famished." Therefore his name was called Edom, which means red. But Jacob said, "First sell me your birthright." Esau said, "Behold, I am about to die." Circle, am I about to die? It's a pure lie. He is not about to die at all. He could have gone into a tent right beside his tent, and he would have found wealthy people with plenty of food. It doesn't care at all. I'm about to die. It's in the Bible, but it's a lie. So of what use then is the birthright to me? Jacob said, "First swear to me," for he swore to him and sold his birthright to Jacob. Then Jacob gave Esau bread and lentil stew, and he ate and drank and rose up and went on his way. Thus Esau despised his birthright. Okay? The first two sons, Ishmael and Isaac were half-brother, but here there is a real closeness in the relationship. Make a note of that, a real closeness in relationship. In fact, that Esau and Jacob are, by the matter of fact, they're twins here. A full brother, a twin brother. Here you have an example of a person that doesn't care about the plans of God at all. But the birthright belonged to Esau. He was the firstborn. But Esau, for him, was more important to satisfy his appetite in the realm of the physical than to be used by God for the future plan of God. Jacob was not owning the birthright, but he had a deep desire to be used of God. So he wanted the birthright because he wanted to be used by God. Make a note here, that he never stole the birthright. The sin of Jacob does not lie in stealing the birthright. He never did it. He never stole the birthright. But he had also a lapse of faith by doing the deception of the father. He should have waited for things to shift around to own that birthright in another way. So he lacked faith here simply by deceiving the father with his mom. He never stole the birthright. He had a deep craving. Wow, I want to be used by Jehovah. And he will. All decreed by the Almighty God. Here. Okay? So, simply put right now, as I want to go slightly faster here, the Arab states are all descendants of either Esau or Ishmael. And the root conflict of the conflict in Israel, which my wife witnessed a lot, stabbing, name it, and so on, as well as I was telling you the positive thing. She was working in the hospital to where I work with her just by volunteering, helping her, and so on, side by side. Palestinian people, Arab people working with the Jews in perfect harmony. Okay? Savable people. So, your Arab people comes from these two individuals. Okay? Now we come to this. The ongoing nature of the conflict, Numbers chapter 20, verses 14 to 21, and Psalm 83. We quit Genesis, come with me in the book of Numbers. Before I go any further, I would like to present this to you. I would like you to note that right now. Here, very important. You don't need to take you need to take a picture of that. What will be happening during the ongoing conflict that I will be expounding upon for the next 40? It's two principles to keep in mind. These nations, Arab nations, will be judged by God because sin has to be judged. It will be judged based upon the expression that we call anti-Semitism, animosity against the Jewish people. And also, the severity of the punishment of the nation will also be based upon the closeness of the blood relationship between them and the people of Israel. There will be peace in the 1,000-year kingdom, what we call the Davidic kingdom, or the millennial reign. There will be peace between the Jews of Israel and Israel. It will come by means of three things. It's on your screen. It will come by means of occupation of their land, total destruction, and conversion of the Arab state. So there is hope. There will be peace, but not of this age. Not of this age. If it is understood, you will not do exegetical work based upon the newspaper. The Bible is the final authority in all matters of faith and practice. It's the Word of God, that's what He has decreed. When you pray for the peace in Israel, which we irregularly in this place, Les, you know that, every Thursday night we uplift the nation. But we, as a body, understand that the peace will not come by means of any types of government, be it Trudeau, Stephen Harper, who was pro-Semitic, or anti-Semitic Trudeau, or Trump, or any of them. We're back to an anti-Semitic government right now, and he will probably be re-elected, which is not good. When you will do your acts at the next election, push away a little bit your pension plan and the price of housing in BC. Who cares? It's the policy of foreign affairs that is important for believers today, not to slip an anti-Semitic tone. I'm saying something very controversial right now. I wish I would not say it, but what I'm telling you on YouTube right now is the plain truth. The church is turning anti-Semitic also. We can't do it. The continuity of the conflict. Let's come to Numbers chapter 20. Numbers is in the Pentateuch, the 5 books of Moses. Go there in chapter 20. Numbers chapter 20, 14 to 21. You concentrate with me. I'm going to read a bit faster, just for the sake of time, but you will be with me until 12:30. I feel that. I'm going to give another pause. Come with me here. What we have here is the Jews basically coming out of the land. Come. 14. From Kadesh, Moses then sent messengers to the king of Edom. They're coming out of Egypt. The Exodus actually was before the book of Numbers. 400 years. 400 years. Leslie, come. From Kadesh, Moses then sent to the king of Edom. Circle Edom 10 times. Thus your brother Israel, it's a quote, Moses speaking. Thus your brother Israel has said, you know all the hardship that has befallen us. What hardship? The Egyptian bondage, that our fathers went down to Egypt and we stayed in Egypt a long time, and the Egyptians treated us as our fathers badly. But when we cried out to Jehovah, He heard our voice, sent an angel, brought us out of Egypt. Now behold, we are at Kadesh, right on the border of the land, a town on the edge of your territory. Please, let us pass through your land. We will not pass through your field or through your vineyard. We will not even drink water from a well. We will go along the king's highway, not turning to the right nor to the left until we pass through your territory. Edom, however, said to him, thou shalt not pass through us, or I will come out with the sword against you. Direct brotherhood. Direct brotherhood. Again, the sons of Israel sent to him, we will go up by way of the highway. And if I and my livestock do drink any of your water, then I will pay its price. Let me only pass through on my feet, nothing else. But he said, Edom, you will not pass through. And Edom came out against him with a very heavy force and with a strong hand. Twin brothers. Twin brothers, because Edom, who is the father of Edom? Esau. You're not going to come through my territory. Twin bro. A price will have to be paid here. It would have been the shortest way to enter the Holy Land, but now they will have to do a tremendous detour to get there. And that's what I want you to notice here. 400 years, not 400 years of cultivated animosity. Why not 2000? We have learned the animosity between Hagar and Sarai looking down. And we have learned right now about the animosity of Ishmael on Isaac at the age of 18. It was not two babies to do agaga bubu together. Looking down, it has kept on going ever since. We have studied together the root and the origin of the conflict. That's why it lasts. You will not pass through. Come with me in Psalm 83. Psalm 83. It's a prophetic psalm about anti-Semitism in 83. Just want to show you verse 4. This is the only thing that I want to show you. Verse 4, maybe 5 and 6. They have said, he's complaining about his enemy right now, Israel's enemy. Come and let us wipe them out as a nation. The name of Israel be remembered no more. For they have conspired together with one mind against you. They have made a covenant. The tent of Edom, southern Jordan, and the Ishmaelite, it's the father of Abraham, of Arab also, Moab, and the Agrites, and so on. So this is basically words that the psalmist pour his heart. They have conspired against us. It's the Arab state. Once on the radio, Nasser, the one that was in charge of Egypt, said, quote here, Nasser said, I heard Nasser saying on the radio that he would drive the Jews into the sea and it would wipe Israel off the map so that it would not be remembered that there was a nation of Israel in this century. Nasser of Egypt said this. Paraphrasing this. It is impossible to do. But still, that's what they would like to do because of the ongoing principle of animosity. Am I going to give you a solution to that? No, there is no solution to that. I told you, beloved, it's an ongoing thing. It will last until the second coming of the Messiah. The only solution that the church has to do is to pray for the peace of Israel because it is an eschatological prayer by default. It's praying for the rapture and it's praying for the second coming of the Messiah. The King of Kings and the Lord of Lords will rule on this planet, a reign of peace, and he will look after the Jewish nation. I could have been longer, you understand why. The future of the conflict. Now it's prophetical. We'll answer Bill's question to an extent only. Okay? We start. Now we're looking at the prophecy. It's a prophecy teaching that you're receiving right now because Olga, here, thank you for coming, my love. Here, she's Jewish, by the way. My wife is a Jew. It's, those that are new. Okay? We'll study Revelation. Not next week. Next week we're closed because of long weekend. The following week we finish Revelation in totality. But this was a mini seminar for the summertime. So now we're looking at the prophetic. What God will do. Not what the church will do. I don't want to get negative. Not what the church will do, not what the church is thinking, not Mr. Trump, which was a good thing to give them the state there. None of it. What God has intended for the Arab state to become. Now you come with me in Ezekiel 47:13. Ezekiel 47:13. I'm not going to read the full passage. You know that it's way too long. I know that all of you read this passage last week. It's a known fact. Really? I did not either. Just portion of it. Okay? In the Messianic kingdom, there will be a reshaping of the land. I'm here right now, capital A, Lebanon here. And in chapter 47, verse 15 and onward, FF mean onwards here, this shall be the boundary of the land on the north side, up from the great sea by the way of Etlon to the entrance of Zidab, Amath, Berothan, Zebraim, which is between the border of Damascus and the border of the north side, Amah, running and so on. There will be this. Because of the cataclysm, look at your map on the left-hand side. Because of the cataclysm at the end of the Great Tribulation with the 7 bowls poured on this planet, the land of Israel, prophetically speaking, during the 1,000 year will be way larger than it is today. It will be bigger land. Thank you, bro. It will be a bigger land at that time. Okay? So because the land will advance also in the Mediterranean Sea, there will be dry land moving into the sea. The north, which is Lebanon, is right here, and this will be the border of the land. So there will be no people called the Lebanon, no place in the 1,000-year kingdom. Because of the reshaping of the land here, the peace will become by means of occupation. So will there be peace? Will there be peace? Yes. Between Lebanon, there will be peace by means of occupation. And we determine, theologically speaking, the issue by exploring the borders of the land in the prophetic future. Yes, there will be peace there. 35, basically Ezekiel 35. Also, 6 to 9. We're not there yet. Okay, just talking about Lebanon right now. Thank you for showing me grace. So you can tick mark your Lebanon. It's behind us. Study all this. You need maps. You need to Google all the cities, and you will say, that was fun to see Damascus here. So your Damascus is Syria today, because they bombard from the east, from straight, what we call here, Olga, the Golan Heights, which you know well. They do good wine, by the way. And Damascus is Assyria, and not Lebanon, but Assyria, Babylon, and Damascus here. So they bombard Israel like this. But there will be no Lebanon. So the extension of the northern border of the kingdom will extend because of the book of Ezekiel that I wish one day I will do. It's a bit tedious though. We move on. Capital B, Jordan. Jordan will be separated in 3. Okay? Jordan. We will be talking about Edom, southern Jordan. So picture the Dead Sea. Okay? The Dead Sea is right here because I don't have a map. Jordan, it's right here. Southern Jordan. Moab. In Hebrew we say Moab, but it's Moab for you. Central Jordan. Ammon, northern Jordan. Because they are subdivided, let's attack this one. Go to Ezekiel 35, please. You are already there. What will be happening in Ezekiel 35, 6 to 9, what will be happening to the Edomite? I have a question for you. Don't answer, we'll give you the answer. The Edomite are closely related by blood relationship to Israel. Okay? Israel and Esau. Come with me. Ezekiel 35, 6-9. Therefore, as I live, declares the Lord God, I will give you over to bloodshed. He's talking to Edom. And bloodshed will pursue you. Since you have not hated bloodshed, therefore bloodshed will pursue you. I will make Mount Seir, it's in Edom, a waste and desolation, and I will cut off from it the one who passes through and return. I will fill its mountains with its slain, and your hills and in your valleys and in all your ravines, those slain by the sword will fall. I will make you an everlasting desolation, and your cities will not be inhabited. Then you will know that I am Jehovah. So, peace will come with Edom by means of, say it, total destruction. Okay? Perpetual desolation. Total destruction. Jeremiah 49. Jeremiah, you go back 2 books and you are in Jeremiah 49. I don't have time to give you all the context, the primary context of all these scriptures. I can't do it. Would be another 5-week study. 7-13 of chapter 49. Concerning Edom, thus says Jehovah of hosts, is there no longer any wisdom in Teman? Teman is located on the Edomites. Has good counsel been lost to the prudent? Has their wisdom decayed? Flee away, turn back, dwell on the depths, O inhabitants of Deban. For I will bring the disaster on Esau upon him, and the time I will punish him. If grapes gatherer come to you, would they not leave gleanings? If thieves came by night, would they destroy only until they had enough? But I will strip Esau bare. I have uncovered his hiding places so that he will not be able to conceal himself. His offspring has been destroyed along with its relatives and his neighbor, and he is no more. Nothing of the descendants of Esau will remain. Why? Anti-Semitism and closeness in Jeremiah 49. Okay? Jeremiah 49, 7-13. Anti-Semitism, let me pass through your land. Twice. Yeah, but we will pay. You're not going to come here. It's serious. Are they now savable as individual? An absolute yes. Everybody's savable. Everybody's savable. Moab. Jeremiah 48. We take Moab. Jeremiah 48. Okay? So we did 2. Edom, southern Jordan, we did 1. Total destruction, total desolation. Moab, now we take. Jeremiah 48, verses 1-46. Jeremiah 48, verses 1-46. I can't do it. No time. Jeremiah 48, verse 47. You read the passage if you want to know more with me. Yet I will restore the fortunes of Moab in the latter days. What's the reference to the latter days? A Jewish people, like in Orthodoxy, they believe in 2 ages. The age that we are in right now, that's why they are in the year 5,000 and something from Adam, and the age to come, or the latter days. What's that? The Messianic kingdom. Don't allegorize that. If you have not been taught in your churches in the last 20 years about the Messianic kingdom, that's a trigger, that's a red flag. Ask your pastor. If he says it's an allegory, find another church. Very serious. I'm very serious about it. It's time to grow to maturity, get out of there. Need to move on. Because God is a liar. Next thing, do you know what's the next thing they will allegorize? John 3:16, may as well. Okay, so Jeremiah 48:47, here there will be peace, destruction, but not total. In 1-47, I just read it here. Yes, I will restore, yet I will restore the fortune in the latter days, declares Jehovah. Thus far the judgment of Moab. There will be destroyed, but there will be a remnant of Moabite people. There will be a remnant of Moabite people. They will not be destroyed in totality. There will be descendants of them in the Messianic kingdom. There will be a cluster of a saved nation in the 1,000 year from the Arab state. Ammon, number 3, northern Jordan, Jeremiah 49, 1 and 2. Concerning the sons of Ammon, thus says Jehovah, does Israel have no sons? Or has he no heirs? Why then has Malcham taken possession of Gad, and his people settle in its cities? Therefore, behold, the days are coming, declares Jehovah, that I will cause a trumpet blast of war to be heard against Rahab and the sons of Ammon. And it will become a desolate heap, and her towns will be set on fire. Then Israel will take possession of his possessor, says Jehovah. The Ammonite. Partial destruction followed by conversion. Partial destruction followed by conversion. Partial destruction followed by destruction. Why? Conversion. Why? Tell me why. You don't know. That's okay. That's fine. Ammon, who are they? They are descendants of, what, pardon me? Sons of Lot. Thank you so much. Abraham's nephew, so more distant in blood connection, less destruction. Because the Ammonite, they're sons of Lot. What's the connection of Lot of Abraham? Oh, that's my nephew. But Abraham and Edom, the twin, Isaac and Jacob, you will not pass through my territory? Okay, wait, in the Messianic kingdom, I'll pay back. Anti-Semitism is the first principle to keep in mind. And the second principle to keep in mind concerning the Arab state is the closeness of the blood relationship. Egypt. How are you doing, bro?
Another 8 minutes.
Another 8. We take Egypt, actually, we're doing good. Take with me in Egypt. I will summarize. Come with me in Egypt. You know where to go? Bang. No. Isaiah 19. 1-22. What will happening with Egypt? I've been there. Look at all the pictures on top, the pyramids. It's not taken online. It's my picture. If you like garbage in the street, go to Egypt. That's the place to go. Filthy. 19. Egypt. Isaiah 19, I'm going to 1-22. No, we'll do verses 16 and 17 together. Your responsibility this summer to read this passage if you want to learn more. Verses 16 to 17. In that day, which day? The Egyptian will become like a woman, and they will tremble and be in dread because of the waving of the hand of the Lord of hosts, which he is going to wave over them. The land of Judah will become a terror to Egypt. The land of Judah will become a terror to Egypt. Everyone to whom it is mentioned will be in dread of it because of the purpose of Jehovah of hosts, which he has purpose against them. Okay? So we write there, in that day, meaning in the prophetic future, which could include today, and that's the case right now also. You have had in Egyptian leaders, do you remember Farouk? Do you remember? Yeah. Farouk. Do you remember Nasser? Yes. Do you remember Sadat? Yes. All of them attacked Israel. What was the cost for them? Heavy loss. So if you talk to the normal Egyptian people in the street, don't mention Israel, they're scared of them. So that 16 and 17, or 17 and 18 here, 16 and 17, it's witnessing today. They have suffered so much every time that they go against Israel, they are slammed. Takes decades to rebuild for them. They fear Israel. So heavy loss. Now, go to Isaiah 19, 16 to 17. That's prophetic today. You've been there. And now you go to Ezekiel 29, please. Ezekiel 29. I'm still on Egypt. Come with me. Ezekiel 29. Do I need to tell you that the Egyptian people was the first known nation in the Bible to be anti-Semitic? Okay, you know this, eh? Anti-Semitic. Anti-Semitic. By drowning the firstborn in the Nile. Okay? It was the first known nation in history that were anti-Semitic. And for this they will pay. Ezekiel 29, 11 to 13. 11 to 13. You should need the whole passage, but I want 11 to 13 right now. Let's start in because you have said at the bottom of verse 9. Because you have said the Nile is mine and I have made it, therefore behold, I am against you and against your rivers, and I will make the land of Egypt another waste and desolation from Migdol to Syene and even to the border of Ethiopia. A man's foot will not pass through it, and the foot of a beast will not pass through it, and it will not be inhabited for 40 years. Circle 40 years. I will make the land of Egypt a desolation in the midst of a desolated lands, and her city in the midst of a city that are laid waste will be desolate 40 years. Circle that again. And I will scatter the Egyptians among the nations and disperse them among the land. 13. For thus says Jehovah of hosts, God, at the end of 40 years, I will gather the Egyptians from the peoples among whom they were disturbed, and so forth. And they will, at the end of verse 16, then they will know that I am Jehovah of hosts. So, for the first 1,000 years of the Messianic kingdom, the Egyptian will be dispersed like the diaspora of the Jews right now. Their land will be waste for 40 years. God will regather them, and they will worship in Egypt Jehovah. There will be a memorial, a pillar under the name, and they will speak the Hebrew language. In the 1,000 years. 40 years, 40 years, 40 years, he will regather the Egyptian, and they will know Jehovah. There you go, for Egypt. The conversion in Isaiah 19, 23 to 25. Okay? The conversion is in Isaiah 19. I will read it for you, because Isaiah 19, 23 to 25. Isaiah. No, I'm talking about the conversion here. It's not on there. Isaiah 19, 23 to 25. I have the conversion, because where do I take this? I don't have time, but I do that. In that day, are you with me? Yeah. Not all of you are with me. Yes. Good. On that day, there will be a highway from Egypt to Assyria. Huh. And the Assyrians will come into Egypt. That's the Via Maris. The Via Maris, the way of the sea. It's closed today. In that day, there will be a highway from Egypt to Assyria, and the Assyrian will come into Egypt, and the Egyptians into Assyria, and the Egyptians will worship with the Assyrians. In that day will be the third party with Egypt and Assyria, a blessing in the midst of the earth, whom Jehovah of hosts has blessed, saying, Blessed Egypt, my people, and Assyria, the work of my hands, and Israel, my inheritance. There is only one inheritance. It's Israel. But God will save other nations, and one of them is Egypt. After 40 years of desolation, they will be regathered. Pause. Yes, because it's going to be 12:15. Beautiful. Beautiful. Pause.